Hello everybody and welcome back to DBDLeague. My name is MetalBro, or you can call me Rob, and I am joined on the desk today by Egdar the Ruiner, who was casting earlier today, but now back on the desk with me for Ascent versus VIKzz. And oh my god, what an insane 90-degree angle there, hitting underneath the staircase. Angels on the Unknown, making a name for himself yet again. I mean, is anybody surprised at all? All of these UVX shots are hitting, and quite frankly, we got nothing else to thank but Angels for this. Egdar, how are you today, my friend? We're starting off with a banger today.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully this is a sign of things to come here. Angel's going to be picking things up for Team Ascent coming into AHL, trying to make their mark here. And yeah, you know, if things continue this way, you can feel pretty confident. In terms of the special bouncing, Unknown, of course, on the indoor map, and is going to have the iridescent OSS report. Basically, all of the decoys will have terror radiuses and red stains. Midwich is already a tiny map as we actually get the snipe through onto Jiggy. Not quite going to be able to dodge out on that UVX. But point is, your communication skills as a team are going to be very well tested here.
Okay, we gotta talk about the fact that we've seen 3 injuries and a down already come in this match. We do have some really solid gen pressure on the side of VIKzz though. We pop a gen, it does get doubled though, so that's the kind of the takeaway there for the for that upside of the 1 gen being popped. We have another one in progress right now. Not a whole lot of gen pressure on the board at the moment, just the one that came out. But Angels already has a lot of pressure on the board here. We did see a reset come through, and we did get it down on the Jiggy as well. 2 teams, by the way, were both in, well, actually one of them was in Season X. We saw Cynic rather than Ascent in Season X, but a few of the players definitely well known on Cynic that are also on Ascent as well, especially considering that we have Angels, the team captain of both, and a very, very strong Unknown player. Nicely done with the linger, by the way. We do get that UVX shot on, and oh, smash hit value. Actually able to leave that
Ooh. What are you doing? Okay.
What a banger of a match already, Egdar.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I didn't expect Angels to come out being freaky, I guess, but like that's the kind of stuff we're on right now. Mata gonna be eating up another injury here, and like you can see how tough a time the survivors are having here. Midwich is already gonna be a tough survivor map in any regard, but against a killer like the Unknown, whose power can be, let's say, inconsistent at best. These, you know, enclosed environments, these small spaces and these long corridors are going to prove to be quite deadly to have to deal with the killer around. We are able to complete this gen on the bottom side of the library. Hopefully whoever was here before can make themselves a nice escape. It is Karma. Use the smash hit to what I thought was spectacular effect earlier, until Angels decide, nah man, I'm just going to hit you through a wall with my UVX bounce. So now injured up and not quite able to get through this filler in time. So goes down, no one's here to pick it up. What a strange Unknown skin, by the way. Like, the Unknown's just strange regardless, but like, it's giving me like Hills Have Eyes kind of vibes.
Yeah, it's a very powerful fit. I can't lie. I might actually have to start rocking this myself. Yeah, I mean, quite frankly, the Unknown has a lot of really cool skins. Kind of an added bonus of being like a monster type creature, right? The Dredge has some similar very cool skins as well. We do actually, oh my goodness, the undetectable actually catches Mata off guard. We do get the linger as well with UVX, so Mata is now weakened and susceptible to another down. I think it's gonna be down right here. Yes, it is. Nicely done by Angels, and we're gonna teleport away and actually leave the slug on the ground, and actually get our tunnel out here onto Karma. I would imagine we're waiting up the base kit endurance here, but now that it's gone, it's free game for Angels here.
Yeah, and as you continue walking, as you continue passively putting down these hallucinations, it's going to cause even more chaos for the survivors. Beautifully timed dead art from Karma means that you're going to be able to live for a little bit longer. Double exhaustion, sometimes a questionable decision, but here clearly very much paying off. But unfortunately, it's not like you have open space on this map to really work with to dodge around. So Karma's going to go down. That's a survivor that's now dead on hook. Only 2 generators completed for the VIK survivors.
And I gotta say this, right? We did talk about the inconsistency of the Unknown's power, right? But I gotta give it to Angels. One of the few players who's been able to make his power seem somewhat consistent. So that's really nice to see. A lot of very similar hits will be coming through here. A lot of, you know, a lot of situations where like once you're in animation of something, it's pretty much free game most of the time. And you know, Midwich is actually a very Midwich is a very solid map for the Unknown. So I'm really happy that this is one of our special sets here. This is going to be, quite frankly, in my personal opinion, nicely done. What a snipe onto Karma there from way across the hallway, and still undetectable, by the way. That is absolutely horrifying to see.
It's actually a horror movie as he just burst the door down to come get you. We preempt the Egdar there. I mean, better to be safe than sorry, and we are barely able to get rid of the weakened, but also a palette as interesting as this one. Honestly, the M1 is what you got to be worried about. We have Bobo, who's kind of chilling around here, looking to hide. Maybe go for like a sneaky firecracker play, but it's all going to be for naught. Tunnel Out comes out with 3 generators remaining. It's a very good start for Angels and Ascent. VIK survivors enter this 3v1. This set is giving me like major Dredge on Midwich vibes. You know what I mean? Not just because we're on Midwich, not just because we're on like a... I mean, it's not really a stealth killer, right? But like a killer that, 1, looks absolutely terrifying, and 2, relies on catching the survivors off guard. We'll put it like that.
Nice weekend incoming from Angels onto Jiggy, by the way. We're setting a clone right next to this gen, not doing the insidious mind game, but quite frankly, wouldn't be an unfunny thing to do here, actually. We're gonna go and take a reset here on this palette. It's gonna look a little bit unsafe though, because right now Undetectable is up, and we actually. Oh wait! Oh, nice down from Angels on the palette. Oh my goodness, Angels is cooking in this Midwich set right now, making the Unknown look like the strongest killer in the game at the moment. This is fantastic stuff. I don't know how that missed, honestly, but I think it was just a little bit too far behind Mata. Really solid Unknown gameplay coming in. And if the survivors don't have a lot of gen progress on the board, this could be a 4K3 and quite likely 4K2.
Yeah, I mean, remember that this is going to be cross-ping as well. Of course, it's going to favor whoever the killer is at that given time. We have a pretty solid European team in VIK, and then I guess what we'd call the All-Star American, the kind of favorite NA team of this tournament after Petroleum's unfortunate performance yesterday. And right now, Angel is definitely proving that to be the case. There's a lot to talk about these teams, and in between the breaks, I'm sure we'll have plenty of time. But right now, this result is really doing the talking for us, right? 4K3 looking increasingly more likely would be a fantastic start for Angel, right? While I guess if we're talking about the NA teams, right? While Petroleum, they came in with a bit of a whimper. I mean, Ascent are coming in just roaring right now.
Yeah, very well said, honestly, Egdar. Another thing to talk about here too is that now that we have Wispy on Team Ascent, Ascent just become a very strong team. I mean, you want to talk about Angels being a very strong killer player for Ascent. Wispy's also a very strong killer player. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, that was looking very deadly. Unfortunately, we don't make it though.
Still's looking deadly. We just need a new pair of glasses to see through that. Yeah, there's history about every single player in this lobby right now. VIKs, of course, were a team. It was quite interesting, their route here. They themselves qualified for Season X, but unfortunately they had a pretty poor performance, to be honest. It was the best of the best that we were inviting, and unfortunately they struggled in their matches. They either went winless or only achieved 1 win, so they're looking very much for redemption here in AHL. And yeah, in terms of Ascent, they are probably pound for pound right now the best North American team that are out there. and they are only reinforcing their ranks with the inclusion of players like Wispy over time. We hit an insane bounce onto Jiggy as well. You're not in Grimsby anymore, little bro. And, like, he's gonna get caught out here as well. It's maybe not. It felt inevitable, but, you know, they don't call him the harmless for nothing, right? Jiggy's able to get rid of the weaken. Get away, at least for the time being. We're gonna have to play around this window, but remember, you can only use that so many times in a chase, and Jiggy recognized this, and he's gonna take the opportunity to, well, do what he does best. Just run the hell away. There's a reason that they call it jigging.
Exactly. I'm glad that you mentioned it because I was just mere moments of doing so myself. And yeah, quite frankly, some really solid UVX shots coming in from Angels, and Jiggy doing a fantastic job of avoiding them. We did see a few landing already though, and I mean this chase right now is going on for quite some time. Actually, wait a second. We actually interrupt this gen that was almost completed, Egdar. This was like mere seconds away from being completed. Oh my goodness. And Jiggy, I don't think his pain res was actually used, so we might actually see a pain res coming in on Jiggy here.
Yeah, we know that obviously Jiggy's been hooked, but we don't know if that was pain res necessarily. No. So, yeah, it'll be Volvo. Volvo hasn't been hooked yet. That makes sense. So we do see another generator completed. There's one more that we know is 99 and has either hit or is getting very close to the regression limit. So we just have to be careful of that one. I'm impressed for the VIK survivors. Their early game was pretty bad, bluntly. They did not have a fun time. Angels was just all over them like white on rice, but they've really been able to pick it up in this latter half. There have been some spectacular individual chases, whether that's been from Madder or whether that's been from Jiggy, and that's bought time for some of these generators to fly by. 4K1, if you can leave with that result, you can hold head high for VIKs and think maybe this is winnable on the flip side of things.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like it's coming a little bit closer to a better win condition for Vikzz now. But Ascent, I mean, still just has a lot of pressure on the killer side here. Yeah, I think this is gonna be Mata's last chase. What? He sent it down the hole like a freaking basketball. Oh my goodness, what is happening? What a shot from Angels coming in. My goodness.
That Angel's a prime MJ. I really can't tell the difference, and Matter's gonna have to debate that question for the foreseeable future, dead in the entity's realm. Now it's essentially just Vobo who's safe to work on this final generator, but we saw it was regressing a bit. Volvo had to undo some of the damage onto it. It's now injured. Jiggy sure as hell ain't going to be able to pick anything up, and if Angels has the game sense here, they would recognize that, you know, no other gen realistically is close to being worked on. You have Jiggy, who is like in the most dangerous spot imaginable against this killer, capable of being grenade shot from a distance at any given time, and then Bobo injured as well. 4K2 seems to be where things will end here, and Jiggy's been found out.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate here, and does actually dodge the UVX, but unfortunately just putting himself in the position where, yeah, 4K2, really, really solid position here from Angels here. Some of the most insane shots with UVX that I have personally ever seen, and that's coming from someone who's also an unknown main. So I'm quite frankly very impressed with some of these shots that came through from Angels. But not only the shots were impressive, but also the macro knowledge here. Angels knew where to go, when to do what he needed to do. Like everything was just on point in the favor of Ascent here. Now, mind you, while VIKzz did not have a great time in Season X, they still made it into Season X. They were one of the top 10 teams that was invited, or that came onto the main stage of Season X. So they are absolutely no slouch of a team, for sure. But Angels putting up an insane win con. Wonderfully done by Angels.
Yeah, really good work there, 4K1. It's kind of interesting. 4K2, yeah, apologies. My brain is a bit slow today. Thank you, Robert. So I'm full naming you now. Don't worry about it, bro.
That's
But
fine.
yeah, but yeah, it's very odd when looking at our stats to exactly see the way that things are going. But point is, what we know for now, an unknown has only a 33% 4K rate. So already we're definitely putting the work in if we're Angels and Ascent here. Now you basically just have to get an expected result, and you should be just fine coming out of this. In terms of a quick head-to-head between teams, obviously we explained a bit in the latter end of that match. But yeah, VIKzz is a pretty experienced Survivor team. They're always kind of on the precipice of greatness. You know, they're always good, but they're never great. They're always the bridesmaid, but never the bride. They will consistently get to the top tournaments. They'll consistently put up fantastic results in lower tier tournaments. But when it is time to come to hang with the best of the best, they just kind of can't manage it oftentimes. There's a lot of work they can do. Of course, all the players still very much growing. Ascent are the best North American team, and they're getting even better. So they are the pride of NA, to put it bluntly. Not that I would have any pride in being from NA, but that's just me talking, isn't it? And I think that if we were to see like some kind of NA versus EU like show matches and showdowns in the near future, then we would absolutely be seeing like several players from Ascent, basically.
Absolutely, very well said. Honestly, Ascent's definitely been taking a lot of the hype for North American teams here, for sure. And it's, I mean, just seeing this very first match here, it's very easy to see why. But now we're seeing some extra NA teams come in with some pretty good, pretty promising showcases here. Exodus
Yeah.
had a very solid matchup against Petroleum. And while Petroleum did not win that matchup, they are also still very promising. Cannot count them out just yet. If I'm quite frankly, I'm gonna say this. I think if we had more sets that Momo played killer on, I think it would have been a very, very different result. Quite frankly, no
Well,
discredit to Julian.
actually, yeah, well, actually, if you don't mind me saying, because it was just something that I was thinking about. I was saying like the best players in NA, and I've actually gone and found the rosters from the recent DBD World Cup that happened, and it is as I called it. 4 of the players on Team Ascent were 4 of the 7 players who officially represented them in the recent DBD World Cup: Angel, Zaphis, Lusty, and Jar. Right. So they are the pride recently, and they are utterly fantastic. Of course, that tournament didn't end spectacularly for them. They did get knocked out in the group stages by Italy, but like you look at the Italy roster, and you kind of understand, right? They are a utterly fantastic team with some great players. But right now, all I can say is like EU better than NA. So sorry, guys, that's just the case. Point is,
That's just
they're still an utterly phenomenal team. They have
yeah. I
some
mean,
of the
like
best players in the world.
very well said. Very well said. That's just kind of how it's been for a while. There's been the DBD competitive scene is very much revolving around EU. Very, very much. There's a lot of EU teams compared to other regions.
For good
So I
reason.
mean, for
Sorry,
good reason.
I'll stop. I'll stop now. I'll stop
No, no, no,
now.
no. By all means, you're
I've
100%
made my
right.
point. I've made my point.
You're 100% right. I mean, EU has just been kind of where it's been at for a long time, so it's no wonder that the best teams are mostly EU. But we are seeing a rise for sure in different regions. NA being one of them with Team Ascent. Ascent just really solid team. But I mean, also considering they have to compete with the likes of like Invictus, Elysium, Ariandel, lots of really solid teams, and now Reassure from South America is making a return as well. Formerly Sinners, now Reassure. So also a very solid team coming in. And we mentioned it last time too, by the way, in the last matchup, that Reassure, formerly Sinners, was the only team to put a blemish on Invictus's win streak throughout all of main stage season X. So it's definitely important to note things like that as well, and keep eyes on teams that are making a rise. and Ascent being one of them, it's really nice to see them in All Hallows League and putting up some insane pressure from the very, very first match here.
Yeah, no, I'm actually really excited about the direction. Obviously, every esport has titles where a certain region dominates. I'm looking at you, Korea, and most esports, in fairness. But you know, at the very start, it was very specifically Eastern European teams which would dominate in DBDLeague, predominantly like Russia. And of course, there are still fantastic Russian teams, teams like Ariandel, teams like Desperate, but also now we're getting North American teams in, you know, like Exodus, Ascent Petroleum. We have South America from Reassure. We have teams like Sorrow, which are like a really crazy international mix of like America, Mexico. Sorry, an incorrect perk bought by the side of Ascent, smash hit instead of deja vu. Of course, each team is required to submit perks ahead of time, and they're expected to be bringing the same perks in. Therefore, a half stage penalty will be applied to Ascent for not doing that. They have to keep their builds. They have to keep their builds, and the killer is allowed to change should they so wish. But realistically, I don't think they necessarily will. But we run a tight ship here in DBDLeague. Point is, I honestly still think that I very much think that Ascent can win this, even with their half hook stage penalty.
Yeah, I quite frankly don't really see this going in favor of VIX here. I mean, 4K2 is not an easy win condition to beat against a team that has a really, like quite frankly, one of the best unknown players in all of competitive DBD. Angels is kind of on top when it comes to unknown. So, I mean, not only that, but they also have Ultra if Angels isn't available. And Ultra is also a really solid unknown player. So, I mean, like, you have two of, like, some of the best unknown players.
We do know who Ultra is.
Good one. Good one. Dyer's not even here to hear it. I don't know why you made that joke. Dyer's not even here to hear it. Oh my goodness, Egdar.
He will do afterwards, and then he'll pat me on the head and give me some treats. That's how it works. That's the kind of relationship we have.
Oh, that's sweet. Anyways, yeah. I mean, quite frankly, we have two players who play this killer specifically very well. Correcting my words here so that they don't get turned around on me by Egdar again. But yeah, no, I just don't see VIX taking the set from Ascent, even with this half stage penalty. I mean, 4K2 is not going to be a very easy win condition to meet.
Yeah, Jar also has to remove the offending perk, so instead of being able to correct it, it's just gone. Jar's going to be 3 perks now. Oh well, that's the price of success, I suppose. In the grand scheme of things, again, Bobo's still going to be having a good time. Bobo was off to a decent, but not amazing start, especially compared to what we saw from Angels, right? So I think Bobo is going to be secretly quite happy about this restart to come through. Is going to go for the same shot and the same play, but unfortunately that time you don't quite get the 90-degree angle which you are so looking for. So you're going to have to go back to the drawing board, find someone quickly, and then get their down as well. Hallucinations about to start appearing on the board, and it's time to see exactly how good the communication from Ascent will be.
Yeah, very well said, honestly, Egdar. We do find our chase onto Jaw, who is the only survivor currently with 3 perks instead of 4. And it looks like we might be taking an M1 here instead of a UVX. Does land it, but we also get the stun. Unfortunately, no more smash hit, so not as much free distance as it normally would be. We also do have a pretty decent build revolving around being injured, so Jaw is not counted out just yet. It looks like we are going to try to get a UVX in Affliction here, but not going to happen, actually. Jaw kind of just playing the clock tower right now, ready to drop a pallet. Doesn't drop it either. And also, Bobo, a little bit afraid of the pallet stun here, kind of backs off. All right, we are lasting quite some time here in this clock tower. Unfortunate!
Yeah, well, this is such an awkward child, right? Because it's really hard as the survivor to, like, escape from there, right? Ooh. But also, as the killer, you have to be so careful because like, you can't go into it easily. And 2 generators were completed in the time that it took for the down to come through onto Jar. So even with that missing perk, still doing a really good job. Of course, building a little house by the clock tower. Very, very sweet. Hope that we can go around for some tea one day. But Jar's going to be put right up onto the hook. And Gen pressure still really, really good from Ascent now.
Yeah, honestly, very, very solid gen pressure coming in at the moment. But, I mean, quite frankly, this is, you know, it was not a terrible chase for Vabo to take. It's just that I just
take 8 chase, right?
yeah, quite frankly. Jaw just lasted a long time in that chase, and quite frankly, it's just really unfortunate. Do we land that? No, we don't. It's kind of close, but it didn't land. Yeah, the unfortunate thing here is Ascent has a lot of practice, and I mean a lot of practice against a very good Unknown. I mean, they scrim internally versus Angels Unknown all the time, I imagine. So, yeah, I mean, what can we really do as Vabo here? This is just kind of a... I want to say this without saying it. This feels like a set. It was like kind of already handed to Ascent without even ever starting it.
I mean, oh yeah, no. There are times where like you have to wait until the second trial to play out to see how this will go because it's too close to call. Sometimes you just win it on the killer side for the rest of your team. Obviously, credit to all of Ascent here, but especially for Angels for putting in an absolutely fantastic Unknown performance. We've already met the Tiger with only a single stage achieved by Bobo. It is inconceivable that Bobo's going to be able to tie this, let alone stop any more progress coming out from our survivors. Even if you're able to hit some nice shots like that, the problem is that Wispy was able to cleanse that weakened in the very, very nick of time, and is going to be able to utilize the bounce landing as well, and even more distance. So weakened will be gone by Wispy should this chase continue, but Bobo has to return back to the gens, of which the 4th one has been completed and the win has been secured. It is now almost certain that there'll be outs as well for Ascent. It's, again, psychological warfare on the opponents. It doesn't matter that we had our half stage penalty. We can just win that easily.
Yeah, quite frankly, that's what it looks like at the moment, right, Egdar? Yeah, it's just tough. I mean, you know, a lot of these teams have got to know by now that if they're going against Cynic or Ascent and Unknown is picked, it's gonna be pretty much a free win for Ascent/Cynic on that specific set. But I mean, also keeping in mind the fact that Ascent is just a solid team in general, and they've won matchups that don't have Unknown at all. I mean, they're a very solid team. Don't need that set to win. It's just that's just one of the sets that if you see it on versus Ascent/Cynic, that you're just gonna, it's gonna be a set that's gonna be lost pretty much no matter what, unless you're like a very top team and have a lot of practice on Unknown as well. We are fighting this chase against Angels here in this back pocket pallet. Eventually going to go down, but lasting an absurd amount of time on this pallet.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. This is a fantastic performance right now. We're going to have generator completed. And like you can let Angels go should you so wish. There's always an argument to be had at this stage in the game as to exactly what you do. Like do you continue to play like it's a scrim, or like you're trying to maximize your win con as much as possible, or do you just, you know, leave like someone to die? At the end of the day, we're not scoring. It's not like we have gens and hook stages in like our tie break, like in future matches or anything like that. It's not like, oh, one team doesn't qualify because, you know, they achieved a total of 7 stages or something like that. We did see the Deadard come out there from Jar. Is it going to be good enough to escape? We need the gate open, but this gate only at 2 lights. So no, Jar is just going to go down here. The rest of the team probably more than happy to get their outs now.
Very well said. Does miss that UBX as well. So yeah, I think we're really only getting Jaw here, unfortunately, for Vabo. But yeah, no, this is a very, very well played set by Ascent. And Vikzz, I mean, not really too much you can do here, unfortunately. Ascent just has way too much practice on against Unknown here, and as Unknown. They're very, very confident as and against this killer. So Very, very unfortunate here for VIX. But we'll be moving on to the next set here, which is going to be an interesting one. And quite frankly, I'm very ready for it. And that's going to be, excuse me, sorry, Blight on RPD Eastwing. And it's going to be another All Hallows League special balancing set, which is pretty interesting here. What happens with Blight on this set, and we haven't seen it yet. I'm very interested to actually go over this. It's going to be Blight has required add-ons for this set, and quite frankly, I mean, one of those being
Vigo's
Vigo's
Journal.
Journal, which
Yeah.
is going to be the undetectable while rushing add-on. It's quite interesting add-on to see on RPD Eastwing.
Well, what is the idea of the indoor maps, right? And we saw earlier Legion being played on RPD Swing, and that was like tantamount to cyberbullying. So Blight is going to have a bit better of a time. Really interested to see exactly what our win con can end up being. To be honest, it's really interesting for our AHL sets to like compare the stats, because for our AHL sets, they're basically playing on like different maps every time. We've not actually seen a Blight in the AHL rule set so far. We have seen a regular Blight, but of course, this is going to be a bit spooky up, completely uncharted territory. If I had to make a prediction immediately, I'm gonna say, because like Blight is still Blight, and the undetectable is spooky, but this isn't like the craziest like add-on in the world, right? Like the undetectable is annoying and it is an indoor map, so it will have an effect, but like it does mean that you do have to give up one of your blighted add-ons. I think the blighted rat specifically, you bring the blighted you're forced to bring the blighted crow along with you here. So you also lose a little bit of lethality and chase, combined with the fact that RPD is already going to be a pretty good map for survivors anyway. It's quite resource dense, obviously a lot of space to cover. I'm gonna say anywhere from 9 stages to a 4K1 or 4K0. That's going to be my prediction off the rip. I am very sure that everyone will tell me how wrong I am. But as I say, we have no game tape, bro. What do you want me to say? I don't even know if the teams have scrimmed this, let alone me, bro. So I'm very interested to see exactly what kind of result we can get. This is going to be the first very special Blight set that we see in All Hallows League. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, I'm quite interested in seeing this set as well. Blight on RPD. I mean, we haven't seen it before in DBDLeague, All Hallows League, so this is going to be a new one for us for sure. But I think it'll lead to some pretty crazy moments. We're actually going to see Jiggy on the Blight here, and I don't know if I've seen Jiggy's Blight before. I can't say, but things are changing for this Blight set. We're on an indoor map here, that being RPD Eastwing, and we have an undetectable add-on as well with Vigo's Journal, and obviously Blighted Crow being the only extra speed perk we're allowed to bring, or extra speed add-on we're allowed to bring, is going to make a bit of a difference in the chase for sure. But the undetectable might garner some value here, but we'll have to wait and see how that's going to go down. I mean, again, Ascent is a very, very solid team. I don't know how much they've scrimmed this, but I know that Ascent is very, very solid when it comes to indoor sets. Although obviously it doesn't even need to be stated the fact that Blight being on indoors is going to change quite a bit, because usually most stealth killers are not really going to be zipping around the map at Mach 5. Like, I mean, like, I don't know if too many people are really familiar with this, but I mean, most Blights, you'll be like hearing the 32-meter portion of the terror radius, and then instantly you're in chase. So, you know, it's a bit different than most stealth killers for sure. So I'm just interested in seeing how this plays out, because this is the first time I'm seeing this set.
Yeah, you know what else we're going to be seeing for the first time ever, Rob?
What's that?
Jiggy's playing Blight.
Yes. Interesting,
is,
right?
Well, it's being explained that it was Daimao on the side of VIX who would have been picking up the Blight, but is now playing for a different team entirely. So I guess Jiggy's the second choice to be playing Blight. This feels like we've been put into a very strange like dream world. But you know what? I'm all here for it. I want Jiggy to be succeeding here. So definitely hope that he can. Unfortunately, it is going to be against some absolutely fantastic survivors. Right now, this is an old colonial showdown. We have a British player versus an all-American team. We'll see exactly how well that goes.
Absolutely. Some nice rushes to be taken here around the staircase of the RPD East Wing. And once again, just to kind of reiterate, we have Vigo's journal here, so whenever we're rushing, we'll be undetectable. And we actually find Jaw here at the receptionist desk pallet. Gonna go and take a rush here. And nice attempt, not really gonna allude to too much of anything. I think that the removal of the Blighted Rat add-on is going to change a lot in the chase here. Blight definitely feels a little bit slower now. We do get the stun as well, so that's really, really good for Jaw here. Maybe not so much anymore. We do take a tag here, and we make it over to the next room as well with usually a very strong window palette setup here. And yeah, there's that kind of horror movie feeling of the stealth kind of coming in here. Not really sure where. Uh-oh, and Jaw takes it down. Unfortunately, sending the window vault a little bit too early.
Yeah, that's tough timing. Actually, a pretty good start here for Jiggy. The gen efficiency, which we would generally expect, hasn't been quite so spectacular. Obviously, the Survivor's going to have access to all manner of incredible perks. Angels is absolutely positioning for the unhook, wants to get the opportunity to proc that deliverance, but also needs Jiggy to, move on a little bit. I think with such a, I guess, relatively early down, considering 126 is when that first down came out, which is, I think, generally for Blight, on the slightly slower side. We expect our Blight down to come out about the 50-second mark, but this isn't bad in the slightest. G is inclined to just stick around here, so if Angels does get this unhook, it's going to need to come in at the last minute or risk just giving an entire trade over.
Yeah, and we do actually see the rotation for the save here. Angel coming in for the save on Jaw, and we do get a trade here. Are we going to commit to? No, we're just going to take the trade. Okay, so Jaw is free to live another day. Although it is Blight, so we can catch up pretty quickly here. Although
live is a strong word, Rob. Live is a strong word.
You're right. He's going to pass by. Nice B1 tech, by the way, from Jiggy, by the way. Really solid. And that was Deliverance, actually, coming in from Angels here. Seeing as Wispy and Zophis are both sitting gens right this second. Ooh. Unfortunately, Jaw gets kind of mind-gamed here. So a down comes in relatively soon after the unhook. Very unfortunate for Jaw here, taking a second stage so soon in the match. There's still no gen pop yet, even though the gen pressure is very good and we're almost done with 2 different gens. That's a death hook and another hook on the Angels before too much of anything has really happened.
Very surprised. That was a pretty, I guess, telegraph mind game, and there's no reason to take a risk like that for Jar to just run to the side of the pallet where, Jiggy could be coming from, and that he was. Now things are in a kind of really bad spot for Ascent. A little better with the passing of the second generator to go on their scorecard. But, like, you get the first 2 gens for free. You know what I mean? They're a gimme. So now things are going to get really tense as we need to position to save Jar. We've already used our deliverance onto Angels, so it's not like you can buy even more time with that. So who's going to get the save? It has to be Wispy or Zophis, and the answer now is it has to be Wispy, because Angel's injured, Zophis in chase actively. But no, they're going to send Zophis to do it. He was barely able to do it in time. I think that was literally, without desperate measures, that unhook might not have been able to get off. So Perk coming in clutch at the last second, and Jar able to hold on for just a smidge longer.
Okay, after doing some very careful thinking here, it is absolutely no wonder why Jiggy is very, very freely taking these trades here. And it's because Pain Resonance is in play here. Okay, are we going to see another mind game onto Jaw here? Please tell me you read this shot. Okay, he does. Okay, yeah. Pain Resonance kind of eating away at all the gens here. And DMS as well, putting in some serious work as well. Man, this is really tough for Ascent at the moment. Very solid team, can't forget that. But at the same time, Jiggy is putting in a lot of work and doing some phenomenal stuff. Almost gets the stun, but not quite. Jiggy was able to break the pallet before eating a stun here. And Jaw is on what is most likely his last chase of the game here. And okay. Jiggy's bounce logic is actually pretty incredible. That almost landed very, very close. Barely making this resource, I think. Yeah, and actually going to... Yeah, unfortunately, you don't live past that one right there. But nice thing for Ascent here is that we're sitting at 1 gen left. So things are not terrible at the moment for Ascent, but not great either.
And the issue that you have now, right, is the Vigo's journal doesn't really do a lot when people are actively in chase, but now that a survivor's dead, we have an issue where there's a brief window of time where our Blight is unaccounted for. Now, definitely, Wispy sure as hell is going to know where he is, as we do in fact have to play the worst palette in the game. Sorry about that, brother. But yeah, in the meantime, we can see some actual value come out from this add-on. Not only when there's 3 less survivors, do you have, you know, less efficiency on the gens, but you also lose the ability for one person to give you information, to make call-outs, to be able to, like, help you not just physically in-game, but also kind of mentally as well. Keep a check on everything in the background. So looks like there's a reset being put right now, and you can see exactly how careful the survivors are being. Not only are they in a spot basically without any generators, but also in a relatively open one as well, where, you know, there's not going to be a rogue Blight suddenly turning the corner with a rush and smacking you down. Survivors are now healthy, and there's 3 generators remaining. Don't think there's really much progress on any of these gens, unfortunately. We saw earlier they were prioritizing at least securing a decent-ish win con, doubling up on one of the generators and leaving the other one to be worked by one person, so they would guarantee have 2 finished. But now you're in a, I wouldn't say a 3-gen scenario. This isn't a crazy 3-gen, but there's 3 gens remaining, and like none of them have progress.
Oh. Yeah, unfortunate for Ascent here, but Wispy does make this pallet, so he's able to last a little bit longer in chase. I don't know if, yeah, Jiggy does not commit to this chase. He wants to find where the other gen is being progressed here, and now we're rushing down to the main lobby here, and looks like, unfortunately, yeah, we're not really going to be able to connect this hit here, and Angels doesn't even fall for it. He's playing this 50 very well. In fact, just kind of sits here until he takes the tag, actually, so gets a lot of time out of that pallet right there. Jiggy actually opts to leave as well and go find pressure elsewhere. Maybe just get some injuries up on the board here so that the 3v1 is a lot more dangerous. But even then, oh yeah, do you get this down? I think. What? The door! What? No way! The door actually blocks Jiggy from getting like the most easy down. That is so unfortunate for Jiggy. Oh my god.
Who would win? Who would win, Jiggy or one door frame? Put your prediction, because it's surprisingly close.
Unfortunately, we've already gotten the answer for that. So, but we do find our chase on his Nafis here. He's going to play this really strong setup here, which I don't even think has been used yet. Yeah, right now, not really a whole lot of pressure to gain from Jiggy at the moment. We do find a chase onto his Nafis here. We are going to take a tag as well, but Angels and Wispy are doubling a gen off in the distance right now. So if we actually commit to Nafis here, which I don't think we're not doing that. Yeah, I think we're gonna see a completion of this gen. I don't know how many more stages we can hold from getting taken in this end game here, but it's looking pretty promising now for Ascent.
This is a rough palette to have to play around with the Blight, with all the chairs kind of like dotting out and all these players still able to get pretty close, but like if you're just relying on regular bump logic, it's not really going to be able to do you a lot. and it's actually going to force G to just abandon ship and go elsewhere instead. Gen progress getting worse and worse over time. The problem is that with all this focus on the gens, the survivors don't have really the opportunity to heal or reset each other, and in fact they've been able to eke out progress on the main generator for a very long time now, and I think honestly they're going to be very happy with having that final gen done. Zapis was already positioned to be on the gate, and you know, with some of these additional perks, I think the idea here is they're just gonna, you know, let Wispy go, or at the very least, they're gonna open the gate, then reset, and then try and get themselves a save onto Wispy. Wispy would be 3 more stages, which is far from ideal, but unsavable. They have made the decision, and so if my math is correct, which it rarely is, as we established, like every single time I count the number of quick stages, I think that's 8 stages total for Vikzz.
That's what I got as well. 8 stages for fresh. So yeah, not a bad result for Ascent here. But quite frankly, I'll say one thing that I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed about from Vikzz here. Jiggy's Blight is quite impressive, actually. Lots of really good bump logic, really good macro here. I mean, this isn't the first time we've seen Jiggy take up the mantle of killer. We've seen him play Nightmare as well for Vikzz, but Blight, kind of a mechanically dependent killer here, and needs someone with a bit of a specialist role on that killer. So seeing Jiggy do such a good job on the killer, despite not really getting a very favorable win condition, 8 stages for fresh, I mean, not bad. Not bad at all against a team like Ascent.
Yeah, not bad at all. I mean, I feel like I feel like things got a little out of control there. It is, as you say, Jiggy not a bad Blight in the slightest, but it's kind of both a blessing and a curse. There's like 2 kinds of Blight players in a sense, right? If we're talking at the top tier, there's those who rely on like techs and flicks and all kind of fancy things like that, and then there's ones who rely on very simple bump logic, which is like simpler, but obviously that's kind of map dependent, you know. And we were kind of identifying it on RPD. There's a lot of very awkwardly shaped loops, ones where, you know, like it's fantastic if you're just on like a regular like truck or car filler where it's just straight lines, and also you just don't have collision with like the car and you can just slide around it. It's like, okay, great, like then any old player can get a hit of this pallet. But when you have like you know, like ones which are like semicircular, like in the main lobby, where you have tiles where there's like little bits of debris like jutting out at the sides. You can't really rely on just, I'm going to go from A to B to C to D, and then D will get my hit on the survivor. It's just like a bit strange. And so I think we have a pretty respectable result achieved there. 8 stages. Problem.
Yeah.
I think this will be exceeded by Ascent. Like, I think they just are coming to play today, and I think that they will have that dog in them. Simple as that.
Yeah, we'll have to see that if that dog's gonna be a cane corso or a poodle, though. We'll have to see. Houndmaster joke. Yeah, make sure you guys get all nice and comfortable and snug.
Subtle reference.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, no, with Wispy coming in on the Blight here, I think that Ascent has a pretty good shot at taking the set as well. I mean, you know, this is Wispy's first time back in DBDLeague in quite some time here. But I'll tell you this much: from what I've seen recently, Wispy is still a very solid killer player. So I'm quite excited to see how this is gonna go. That being said, we have the survivors of VIX here: Vabo, Karma, Fasti, and Mata. A very formidable group on the survivor side, that is for sure. And I mean, you know, I'll say this: despite Blight being what I would consider the #1 killer in the game, and despite being on RPD, I will say that Jiggy put up a pretty solid result. So I think it's fairly achievable, but we'll have to see because Wispy is still going to be a very, very big threat on the killer side here.
Oh yeah, Wispy's gonna be the one taking up Blight, isn't he? Ooh, that's
That's
yeah.
right.
Okay. So sucks to be a VIX player today, isn't it? First you have to deal with Angels is Unknown, and then you have to deal with Wispy's Blight. I'm a little out of the loop. So So I guess I'm asking both you, Rob, but also in the background. Was it the case of was it the case that Wispy was taking up, I guess, the more specialist killers, things like Blight and Nurse, and that you know, and that someone like Angels would be taking like the M1s, or is that just like a gross oversimplification?
Quite frankly, I don't think I have an answer for you on that because, I mean,
Okay, that's fair enough.
if you kind of look at it a certain way, Angels and Wispy are very similar. They're both good at a lot of the killers, both of them. So Wispy being included on this on the roster of Ascent now is a bit of a problem for competitors actually, because I mean, Angels can take up all the killers that he is very comfortable on, and Wispy can do the same, and they can kind of just interchange, save for maybe a few that both are very well known for. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see Wispy picking up killers like Doctor and whatnot, but Blight, I would say for sure it's going to be Wispy's killer.
Yeah, well, we have to prove that now, of course. It definitely helps if Fassi has some very strong pallets on this side of the map, of which there are, to be honest. There's like 2 god pallets basically next to each other. We have a double pallet configuration on the helipad as well. And what are we doing, bro? Okay, we got a little bit spicy trying to land all of these rushes, but that's fine. And now Fassi able to get back into that other vault. I think the problem with this configuration, it means that you don't have. Yes, as I was saying, the problem with this configuration means that you don't have this very strong pallet in this corridor to work with. So Fassi not having that resource, it's like you trade 1 fantastic pallet for 2 like pretty good pallets. The problem is that Wispy is a bit better than a kind of very good killer, right? So getting a pretty, getting a kind of decently timed hook, I believe it will be about similar to what we got. It would be about similar to what we got last time, close to the 130 mark or so. And now it's just a case of what else can we find. This is a gross build, by the way. Like I'm sorry, but like it's a good build, and like it definitely makes sense to bring it. But like as our staff would say, which they just did, holy pub build. Like I'm sorry, but like pain res, like corrupt eruption DMS. I would absolutely hate to be playing against this right now.
I mean, quite frankly, I'm pretty sure this is nothing short of what Momo 7th is using in his win streaks on Blight, so not surprised at all to see this being brought in here. It's a very strong build. I mean, save for the Vigo journal here being a forced pick. I mean, this is pretty much the same build. But yeah, no, this is a really solid start for Wispy here.
Where's the gens? Where's the gen progress? Why is no one working on the gen with like any ounce of progress? I mean, I'm guessing that we chased Karma off one. I'm gonna assume that like Madder, but I mean the most progressed gen being worked on by Madder is only 50%. This is, to put it bluntly, bad gen efficiency coming out from VIK, and I don't think they were pressured enough in the early game to warrant this. Now, yeah, turning back to this chase, Karma's doing a pretty good job for the time being, but sadly that isn't quite the fast vault. It's a medium vault, meaning that it's going to be in distance to get another cane hit from Wispy.
Yeah, quite unfortunate here. Also, really interesting thing here to note is that we're actually playing for stages for the most part here. Not a pain resonance hook, but it is the same exact location that Jiggy was holding a lot of pressure earlier in the match. Deadman Switch is available at the moment. We do get I think we did get a gen blocked actually. Don't know for sure. But yeah, I'll say this much. Jiggy had a very defendable position, and I think that's what led to a lot of the stages he got actually. Whereas Wispy is kind of just playing for stages at the moment, which isn't a bad idea, and you can still make a lot out of it with Blight here. Nice! What a down from Wispy. Really good bump logic here. Fantastic mechanical showcase here.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know what I mean? It's nothing fancy, but it gets the job done, and we're going to have 3 stages secured now. At the time 2 generators are going to be popping. I say 2, the pain resonance will leave a little bit of a mark on the final one. But yeah, the issue is obviously those 3 stages are great when they're spread out, but you know, they're also quite nice when they're all collated onto one person. Of course, I think that, you know, if you're able to get you know, 3-step stage onto different people in about half the time that you can of the kill onto one, that's definitely going to be worth it. And you do have your regression perks working over time as well. You know, Deadman Switch is going to be basically... Deadman Switch is going to get constant value. Even when you know it's there will be times where you just have to leave your gen, you know, and then no one can pick it up off you for like 20 seconds or like depending on when you get off it, you know. So it's a tough time. It seems like we're actually baiting a hit here. Bobo looking for a trade. I'm going to assume the Delhi survivor, but again, Wispy doesn't technically need the 4K here. Playing for stages, not a bad idea in the slightest. And of course, the 4K would be nice, but again, 9 stages is what you need. You don't have to have everyone dead to achieve that.
Really solid by Wispy once again, nailing a very good lethal rush onto Fasty. Although the only thing that I would say is working against Wispy here is the fact that we just use all 5 rushes. But at this point in time, is it really necessary that you have them back very fast? You're playing a very unsafe palette, and it gave Wispy all the time he needed to recharge all of his rushes. So unfortunately, that's gonna be the second hook onto Fasty. And look at that, Egdar, you were 100% right. Baba was indeed the Deliverance player, and pretty much a pretty meaningless stage here, save for the fact that we got all 4 rushes. But we're getting dangerously close now to the win condition here. That being 9 stages, 4 fresh. We're only a few away now.
Yeah, and now you have someone dead on hook as well. Now that split pressure is beginning to pay off. It's certainly a longer term investment, but one that can get you money all the way. So yeah, Matter barely going to be dropping that pallet in time. And so you get a little bit of an extra release on life. Wispy can just return right back to this hook because it's like, what are you guys going to do? You know, you're not going to complete every gen before I get this kill. So either you trade and give me another stage, or the hidden secret ending, which is I slide off Nia Carlson's body and then we go from there. Unfortunately, second time not going to be the charm, and so it's just going to be a trade forced out here.
Yeah, quite unfortunate, but now does it really matter all too much what you do? You can get this second stage onto Mata as well, and then, I mean, it doesn't really matter how far fast he actually gets. Your Blight, you can catch up really fast. We do get Deadman Switch onto the highest progress gen in the moment. So, oh, it tagged to the pallet.
That's the Atlantic thing, baby.
Just drop the pallet. And it's gonna be a nice conversion here onto Karma, who doesn't drop the pallet. That's gonna be the 3rd survivor on Death Hook. This is gonna be the tie, the tie con for stages at least. So far the gens just aren't here yet. This is gonna be another set taken by Ascent if we don't play this carefully.
That it will. And we're not even going for Karma right now because Madder, of course, hook here wouldn't necessarily secure a win, but it will secure a kill, which is about the same to it, right? It's looking increasingly likely that the 4K from Wispy will be coming out, whether it's a 4K1 or a 4K2, yet to be decided. No, really strong play so far, forcing a 3v1. Quite late into the game, but it's been pretty, like, I mean, it's in a nice way. It's been simple from Wispy. There hasn't been anything fancy about it. It is literally a monkey see, monkey do. I find the survivor, I down the survivor, I hook the survivor, and then I go find the next survivor to down. There's no fancy, like, gen control. There's nothing really fanciful about it. It's just pure, like, to-the-point killer gameplay, which I'm certainly a fan of.
Absolutely. We do bring the gen count down to 1 remaining now. And I know that one in the locker room has a lot of progress at the moment, so things are not out of the realm of possibility for VIKs, but quite frankly, the realistic side of me is saying, do you really avoid giving 2 more stages before endgame here with everything, you know, considered here? I don't think so.
I'm telling you the answer is no.
Yeah, I honestly really don't think so. We are going to get some resets off, though, it looks like, unless Wispy's going to come in and interrupt this, which it does sound like he does actually find the reset. Vabo not actually realizing that Wispy's here.
The problem. Oh. And here's the problem. We saw in the last set, this is made a little further into the garden, sure, but this is basically where Ascent were resetting before. And so Wispy knows the call in his head, like, okay, like, gens are on this side of the map, they're all injured, they're going to be resetting. I'm going to run to exactly where they're resetting, and even if I'm not exact on the location, I'm the damn Blight. I'm gonna get near to them anyway, you know? So, you know, Vobo goes to the next stage, it's over. A hook onto Karma, who's on the floor. It'll be over. Hook onto Fast, it'll be even more over. And at this point, you just slug in for the 4K1, which is a damn good result for Wispy and the rest of Ascent.
Oh, just barely missing that medium vault right there. Not able to actually get the down. Unfortunately, but now you're blocked in this room. Yeah, not really much you can do here. A little bit of a funny moment there. Looks like the Blight's going to do his taxes so he doesn't get arrested by the police. Definitely don't want to commit any tax-related crimes here. Everyone has to pay them, even you, Talbot. Yeah, really solid result here from Ascent. 4K1 compared to 8 stages for Fresh. I mean, quite frankly, there were definitely times during Jiggy's Blight match where things weren't so far off from this same win condition. So, right now, Ascent sitting 2-0 with VIKz. Yet to claim a set here, but still having a pretty solid performance. Just not quite meeting the mark that Ascent is here. So we'll be moving on to the next match here, which is going to be the Nightmare on Father Campbell's Chapel, marking the first match that's going to meet the gold standard balancing and moving away from the All Hallows League special balancing here.
Oh, there's also been some discussion, I guess, backstage right now about how Wispy found that reset. Now, my theory in the moment, which was I still think a good one, I maintain, but also a complicated one. I believe the actual answer, which our lovely producer Rats pointed out to us, is they missed a skill check. And at that point, it's pretty easy to find the reset because they just go to it, right? So, yeah. But also, as we've established, skill checks are difficult, as our match official Fern is saying, because they require skill to hit, and therefore it is very understandable to fail one. So you know what I mean? It's a tough time, and like maybe that lost VIKz the game, possibly. Maybe they were losing it anyway, because like they were already down and out by that point into the game. But you know, it happens.
But as Aiko so graciously pointed out in the background as well, the lion does not concern himself with skill checks, and unfortunately, the lion also ate a 4K1. So that's going to be the win for Ascent here. VIKz putting up a really solid job, though. I mean,
The lion is concerned about his rather early entry into the lower bracket.
That's really unfortunate. But
The
quite
lion
frankly,
does not want to go against Freddy on the next map, Father Campbell's Chapel. But unfortunately, the lion has to play by the bigger lion's rules. And in this case, the bigger lion isn't actually a lion, it's a wolf of the diet variety. So it's going to be Freddy on Father Campbell's Chapel next up. And right now, it very much looks like everything is set up for Ascent to be taking this victory. Right, fundamentals are good, fantastic players, and VIKz is a great team. But again, it's what we said before, that always the bridesmaid, never the bride. There are some absolutely fantastic spots on VIKz. There's some great players, but like hitting that upper echelon is kind of what we need to be doing. And at this stage, they just haven't quite found the key to that success.
Yeah, quite unfortunate, right? I mean, they have a chance now sitting on the Nightmare set here, but we have to remember that this was indeed Ascent's pick. Angels coming in first on the Nightmare versus the survivors of VIKz, that being Karma, Vabo, Jiggy, and Fasty. All wearing some very interesting outfits, I'm not going to lie. I'll let them speak for themselves once we load into the game here, but I'm quite frankly a little bit intrigued, I will say, for now. But yeah, no, this is going to be something interesting here because this is either going to make the 3-0 sweep or maybe a little bit of a comeback for VIKz here. If anything, I just hope we see the tiebreaker, but it's looking realistically like it's going to go 3-0 sweep for Ascent here. I mean, we've already talked about it before. Ascent has a very, very strong lineup, especially with the recent inclusion of Wispy on the team here. So what was already a very strong team is now just even stronger. And VIX, well, yeah, you are 100% right about VIX and their placement. Usually, very strong team when it comes to lower bracket tournaments, but when it comes to hanging with the big guys, it's a little bit different, unfortunately. And they do put up some really good results, but it's just not really enough at the moment.
Yeah, of course, we've seen 5 of the 6 players from Ascent. It's only Cyclone in the background that we've not seen yet, but also ends up filling out that roster pretty neatly. So not too many issues for the time being. VIX also have relatively deep roster, but this kind of core 4 of Karma, Jiggy, Vobbo, and Fasty seems to be who they really want to go with. We know that Freddy is a horror icon, and I agree he is, but this is a gold standard set, so there's going to be no real shenanigans, no real chicanery from either side here. Just trying to lock in as best as humanly possible, and Fasty ends up taking his first chase on the reworked Freddy. We did see in Season X, Freddy was a semi-popular pick, not bad at all, and Fasty ends up eating that injury right there.
Wow, holy 2-tap. That is really unfortunate for Fasty. I didn't quite see what caused the injury. Was that a pallet explosion?
Must have been, yeah. The line doesn't concern himself with the pallets that Freddy can explode.
I guess not, yeah. Also, I'm going to challenge you to continue using that same line over and over wherever you can see fit, but please, as much as possible.
As we know, good comedy is when you repeat the same joke 12 times in a row until people laugh at you.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I've already laughed once, but I guess you're waiting for it to happen again. We're going to take the chase over here to the circus here. We got a few fake pallets here, actually, so kind of riddled with fake pallets in this area. So if we are able to play in this area, this would be pretty darn good for Angels here. We do get the pull out of basement, but, I mean, Fasty is, like, right here. Didn't get very far from basement before Angels came right back over. We have 2 survivors who are currently asleep, one of which is working on Gen right now. We're still thinking 5 while Angels is hunting down Fasty. Does hit the very, 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 very tip of that dream snare. And playing this really, really, really risky here. You have, like, no resources here, so you're just kind of dead, edge map. Yeah, just kind of hold W until you die, unfortunately. But, I mean, what can you do? This area is just riddled with dream pallets.
That's tough, especially because, like, normally that's a somewhat reliable corner of the map. Like, you would expect to find at least one regular pallet there, right? But no, that is where Angel Spawn took the liberty of putting down as many dream pallets possible. You're never really punished for placing down dream pallets, right? As you can see, like, just spam them at every single available opportunity, then swap to the snares when you feel like it. In terms of the add-on choices, we get a nice hit onto Vobbo. Going to be pretty standard. We have the jump rope to basically make the hinder last longer when you hit someone with a snare, and the pill bottle is to make a complex explanation simple, makes people fall asleep a lot faster, especially throughout the trials. Worse and worse and worse. The longer the time for sleep, better it's going to be, and you actually use the snare from a distance to cancel the initial pull, meaning that you're able to force a trade there, where there otherwise would have been just a somewhat safe save.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was completely ripped from being a safe unhook, a very free pull, to unfortunately being a trade for Karma there. And Angels unfortunately kind of get stuck on the collision there. But now finally Karma's asleep. Lots of gen pressure on the map for VIX at the moment. So things are not terrible right now, considering this is Fasty's last chase here. Dodging a lot of these dream snares, but I think not noticing there's a lot of dream pallets in the area, and that's going to be the down for a lot of gen pressure on VIX's end, though. So this is not too bad right now for VIX.
Problem is, that was like kind of Fasty's only opportunity to get anywhere, to just try and force send it to that window. We now know that pallets are I'm sorry. I just like the sudden jolt there, but no. The pallets are going to be a problem against Freddy because, like, again, for the most part, they don't exist. Even if you're perfectly calling out, you know, which pallet's been used, which pallets are real, which are fake, you know, they're still dangerous at any point in time. So he had to full send it for the window, wasn't able to get it. Quite unfortunate as Fasty ends up going to the other side, but there's still 3 members of VIK who have been able to reset themselves quite nicely. Always very dangerous against Freddy. You have to go out of your way to get the alarm. Like, any reset will obviously take you like 16 seconds for the heal, but you also have to factor in that you also need the time to grab an alarm and wake yourself up, or else Freddy's going to teleport right on top of the heal. You know, it's information and mobility and lethality all in one. It's really tough, and we have found Vobo in the side of the map where there is absolutely nothing to work with. So Vobo, please get the hell out of this side of the map. Thank you. Never mind, there's still nothing to work with. This is not the real pattern.
Yeah, very unfortunate for Vobo here. This is pretty much destined to be a pretty short chase here, as we kind of just have nothing but fake pallets in this area. We get hindered with the Dream Snare, and now we are down in the circus, where there is still a lot, and I mean a lot of Dream pallets. So saving in this area is always going to be rough no matter what. And actually, we're going to take him closer to the bottom side of the map, actually, and try to get a pretty decent hook location here, which we do. And we see both of the teammates here, kind of one of them stealthing for a pole here at the window. And another one, I think, trying to get woken up here to get on a gen. But, man, this is rough for Vikzz. The 3v1 is not looking very promising at the moment.
No, that is not. And that's just kind of the standard fare of it, right? Fasty, I think, was just kind of positioned, I want to say, it feels harsh to say, but incorrectly a lot of the time, right? Was always kind of forced into a side of the map where there wasn't a lot to work with. And of course, it's very easy to tunnel someone out of the game when they literally can't fight back. You know, it's very easy to take candy from a baby in that sense. Don't try it though. The last baby I tried that on actually knocked me out cold. It's a tough life. So we have 2 injured survivors currently. Still trying to look around for maybe the last one to spread some pressure onto. Vobo would of course be your golden goose, and we're able to get some aura reading over here. A quick little killer instinct proc tells us that someone is nearby. It's Karma, who is about to fall asleep and therefore become very susceptible in chase. Beautifully timed Volt is barely going to be able to get that hit through, and that is why every single second matters in a chase like this. Now Karma injured up, has to play around basically just the window. Life is good enough, but now you have the pallet gone, and the explosion from the pallet comes through. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, says the survivors.
The Lion does not concern himself with shame. But, hey, nice window vault there. Was able to, you know, extend the chase for a little bit. But also a nice window vault from Angels as well. That was perfectly timed. No bamboozle, and was able to catch up immediately. Oh, we do have bamboozle. My bad, I lied.
Yeah, Rob, you lied.
Yeah, no, very good vault. Bamboozle definitely helped them out there. Yeah, no, really solid chase from Karma though, but definitely did die to the pallet explosion. Very unfortunate that Wyatt was not able to save him from that. It was a nice attempt though, for sure. And we see Jiggy here, our only fresh hook remaining. And Vobo kind of spotted out. Fake pallet being blown up right next to him. Doesn't really allude to anything here though. And we do get the pull for free. And that's gonna be the down. And not so much of a trade as it is just slugging the unhooker. And then we vaulted right into Freddy, but still had the endurance up. So at the moment, not very impactful at the moment.
Yeah, you're fighting for your life right here for Vikzz. Fortunately, Jiggy on the other side of things able to complete one more pallet, but I'm fairly certain that'll be the last one. I think the call came out like, yeah, this is it. We'll play for the win con. We'll get our one more gen, because the problem in the 3v1, like, it's always tough. Freddy especially, because like you have 1,000,001 things on your plate. You know, not only are you working on gens, but you also have to focus on your resets. But to even do your resets, as we said earlier, it is mandatory to use the alarm clock, and we are in fact having a staring contest here. Volo's going to go to the shack with nothing on it. Problem is that in the meanwhile, there was another gen this entire time that Karma's just been working on the bot side of the map, and yeah, and that's the kicker. Freddy can just teleport to it, Kami.
Okay, nicely played by Karma. Does get the pallet drop before the explosion. So we're alive to see another day here, fortunately for Karma. And we're actually going to make some good distance here. No tunnel just yet, but Karma needs to die away from this area, because if they do die in this area, that's just kind of wraps, honestly. And it looks like that's what's going to happen. We are going to die in this area. Yeah, we're just going to try to pick corner here and maybe start a different gen. Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate for Vikzz here.
And the list of concerns for the survivors just keeps growing, you know. Now that Jiggy and Bobo are back, that their protection from the alarm clock is up and they're about to fall asleep again, they can't reset each other safely. It just can't be done unless they want to go out their way to find yet another alarm clock, but they're not going to do that. I think at first they were happy to get this 4K1. Now with the ability of the gens being progressed, they would be lucky to get a 4K0, to be honest. I don't think they get stages out the door. That would be a bit too much to ask for at this stage, but I do see a world in which they're able to complete one final generator, and that would be alright for them. But whoever it is, which, I mean, Jiggy right now has gone a pretty insane chase. Angels doesn't want to get baited into a long chase. Instead, it just wants to, you know, focus on where it's at, the gens, the main win con.
Very well said, honestly, Egdar. Yeah, we do see the kick coming into the gen, so getting some base regression off on it, and teleport back to the perfect timing as well. We teleport back to the circus right when the unhook comes in. So now Karma is in a very scary position. Does take live to get distance away. But it looks like we're kind of committed to this tile here, because quite frankly, all of the pallets that remain here are all dream pallets for the most part. Just barely missing the swing. Oh,
even on ping, you were never going to be making that swing, bro. That was the most aspirational swing I have seen in quite a while. It literally inspired me to like hit the gym and get a lawyer. Vobo, unfortunately, has neither a gym nor a lawyer, and therefore will be going down in the corner of the map. And now, yeah, it is literally the 4K0 that they're trying to force as aggressively as possible by working that final gen, but they're changing things up a little bit. They're sending Karma up to the top side of the map to pick up Vobo. Meanwhile, you now know that Jiggy is around here on account of that killer instinct, and it will be a good down for you to get. You know, you're winning by attrition. You're winning by death by 1,000 cuts, and another very aspirational swing from Angels. Maybe overestimating the impact that the ping is having.
Quite frankly, though, that's a swing that I'm surprised actually missed, considering that was the okay. All right, that could have been a lot worse than it actually was. Karma could have been 2-tapped there, or 1-tapped rather, because they're already injured. I'm tapped.
Oh, nice, detective tap. It's a pleasure to see you. Point is, Karma's going to be going down, and now I was thinking maybe this bottom gen would have had some progress on it, but no, it's going to be returned right back to by Angels. We already know that there would have been some killer instinct going off on Jiggy after that TP, and slowly but surely you can see Jiggy's dreams are being haunted by a demon, and the demon's name today is not Freddy Krueger, but just Angels instead.
Yep, very, very well said. We do get the pick up onto Vabo, but I mean, what else do you do here? If Angels decides to vault this, then it's kind of just GG's. There's not really any other resources here to work with. Does get the full sleep onto Vabo with the Dream Pallet explosion, but I mean, Vabo's just got a lot of distance right now on Angels, but not really pathing too close to any of his teammates at the moment, so yeah, you don't really make anything here, unfortunately. GG's to Ascent for pulling a 4K1 almost to 4K0. Very, very close. So definitely some credit to VIX there for getting very, very close to 4K0. But 4K1, really wonderful stuff by Ascent.
You've heard of Dream Demons before, but have you heard of Dream Angels?
Good. Okay. That was a good one. That was a very good one. I can't lie.
It wasn't. That was actually the worst joke I've ever made. You're not legally allowed to laugh at that. It's gonna be the 4K one. I was really impressed with the VIK survivors, just their kind of patience and resilience in the late game. And honestly, I think if I were Angels in a lot of those situations, I might have gotten impatient, a bit greedy, and then just eventually commit to like a kill and some more downs, but obviously give up generators in the process. So it's kind of great veteran instinct to not fall for that, to end up to not fall for that, to stay patient even if it takes you a while, to systematically break the team down one link at a time, and you're able to secure yourself a pretty damn good result. Freddy is a tough killer to verse, a surprisingly tough killer to verse in the competitive scene, but ultimately, I think that the survivors from Ascent should be able to clutch things up here. They should be able to get themselves a 3-0 and firmly lock themselves into that upper bracket. Make themselves the pride of NA, which they always wanted to be. Well, they kind of already are. It's not really they wanted to be.
Very fair point.
They're the best NA team. Simple as
that. I mean, honestly, pretty fair point, right? We're sitting at 2-0 right now. And a bit of a fun fact from our stats analyst, Valoria, in the background, who's always providing us with some really fun facts. That being that the next trial, which is this one coming up with VIX on the Killer and Ascent on Survivor here, will be the 800th match this year in our big tournaments, not counting scrim nights and whatnot. So that's pretty awesome. DBDLeague's doing a lot this year. Very, very awesome stuff. And as you can see, there's a lot to expect from DBDLeague as we just keep pumping stuff out here. So really awesome stuff. 800 matches of DBDLeague in 2025. Very, very, very cool. And also, Valoria, please keep the stats coming. We love to see it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Valoria. Honestly, this makes me think. I don't know if we can, because like we're a little bit kind of close to the end and of the year. That is obviously not in terms of DBDLeague content. DBDLeague will go on forever. I will be casting when I am 93 years old and geriatric. But my point is, can we hit 1,000 trials this year? I would love that, because I'm sorry, what more aura would we have than like 1,000 official trials this year in DBDLeague? It would be a hell of a time, but I think it's doable. I want to see it done. And it also makes me think about, Rob, when did you join the casting team for DBDL?
I believe I joined February this year. It was either February or April. I can't remember the exact month, but it was one of those two. Definitely on the earlier side of the year, but I've been lucky enough to be on a lot of these matches, so I'm really happy about that.
You must have done like at least like 100 trials or so then.
I think so.
Wow, incredible. We work overtime here in DBDLeague. It's a very dedicated group of volunteers, of course, with official behavior backing, which we are very, very grateful for. And we're trying to put on the LAN event, of course. It is the dream. There's so much hype in the air around it, and we are still accepting contributions towards the LAN and all future DBDLeague projects and similar events. So !LAN in the chat will give you a link. Anything which you can give, anything that you'll be able to spare and contribute to the LAN to, I guess, make a dream come true. It sounds a little like sanctimonious, I suppose, but like, I mean, this has been the dream for almost a decade now, right? You know, DBDLeague's been around for that long, basically. So we want to get it done, and anything that you can do to help get it done would go a massive, massive way.
Especially considering that a LAN would make a massive, massive shift in how these matches are played. Because, I mean, it's all in the name, right? Local area network. I mean, we'd all be playing off of the same exact server, so everyone would have the exact same ping, My goodness, I have to witness this firsthand. I don't know what I'd do with myself if I missed the very first LAN. Um, but quite frankly, though, yeah, we've gotten a lot of community support, and I really hope that we're able to meet the requirements we need to see this LAN and other future projects happen. Because quite frankly, DBDLeague has been cooking in the big year 2025, and I mean, not that we haven't been cooking beforehand, but this year has been something out of this world for DBDLeague for sure.
Absolutely. But let's focus on our world right now. Let's focus on All Hallows League and let's follow on this final trial of what could very well be the final trial. Everything on the survivor side here. Jiggy again going to be picking up the killer, of course, has a rather lot of experience on the 1v1 ladder. Has starred in, I think, both of our recent 1v1 tournaments. Not getting the furthest in, but definitely proving his chops. Proving his ability to be a damn good player. And obviously to be successful in 1v1s, even though we predominantly think of Jiggy as a survivor player, you do of course need that knowledge of the kills as well. So, going to be coming through with a very similar setup, dedicated to slowdown, with the exact same add-ons to make your power a bit more effective and make the survivors have a couple more naps at the same time. Angel's going to be hit up with one of those snares, going to be falling asleep, but Jiggy takes the opportunity to just depart. So again, now the decisions have to start happening. The moment you're asleep as a survivor, it's a case of, well, how long am I going to stay in this state before I, go grab myself an alarm clock? For Angels, the answer is basically instantly.
Yeah, and interesting build we're seeing here. Not really too much in the terms of chase. Barely missing that medium vault hit, by the way. Really unfortunate for Jiggy here. Also misses the dream snare as well. And just so far, just not a whole lot of pressure in terms of Jiggy's nightmare here. Just missing quite a bit of pressure, unfortunately. And I mean, we do actually have two survivors here. We do actually land a dream snare onto Zaphis, so could see a tag coming in here soon. But again, no chase perks at all. Just sending full slowdown in terms of eruption, pain resonance, corrupt intervention, which is almost up, by the way. And now we're seeing Sloppy Butcher come into play here, which we didn't see last match. So we could be slowing some heals down and forcing some wake ups to interrupt these heals as well.
Jiggy's been exerting quite a lot of pressure on the gens, which have to commend, but ultimately, what is that pressure without, the scores on the doors, the injuries, the downs, because we're 2 minutes in now, Corrupt is gone, and we haven't been able to secure any of those. You compare that to what Angels be able to achieve, down within 45 seconds, and on the face of it, we have to say this is already decided on the side of Ascent. But well, scores on the doors applies for both sides. It's great having so much progress on the generators, but eventually you need to start getting them done at some point. I know these guys will be very diligently working. First hit barely comes through. Good discipline from Wispy there, recognizing in a split second, I'm going to get hit. I'm not going to waste a pallet, a valuable resource. Instead, I'm going to go over to the shack. Be hit with every affliction in the game, apparently. But buy more than enough time for all of my friends on the other side to complete I guess 2.5 when all is said and done, generators.
Yeah, lots of gen progress on the board right now for Ascent here. But, yeah, this first down coming in kind of late in the match, unfortunately, especially compared to last match, which I think you said, like, what, 39 seconds? This down came in at 2 minutes
45.
and 57 seconds. So, yeah, compared to 45, a massive early game for Ascent here. So, yeah, unfortunately, like you said, I think it's already been all but decided in favor of Ascent here. This is a really bad early game for Jiggy. I just don't know how, if possible, he can come back from this.
Yeah, and they get an early unhook onto Wispy as well, and Jiggy isn't really even a spot to be able to commit to that tunnel out. In fact, there's so much confidence from the Ascent side that they're keeping Wispy injured. They're like, yeah, bro's completely fine. No issue. Yeah, they didn't fight yet. Angel's going to continue ticking up another generator, should be popping the 3rd gen any moment now, and doing the best as humanly possible. Still uninjured. That's fine. There's no inbuilt kind of catch-up mechanic for Freddy. So if you're able to just take a hit in an empty area, that's why being healthy against him is so valuable. Like, he doesn't have the ability to one-shot you, and even if you're in a terrible spot, you can work on those risky gens, and there is precisely nothing that they can do to prevent you from getting to a stronger area with some decent pallets. And yeah, you kind of have to go for a swing like that in this situation. But of course, too much veteran instinct on Zappit to fall for that.
Yeah, quite unfortunate, right? And Wispy once again greeting the Shack pallet. Does have Lion to be able to make his way all the way back around. Does get caught off guard actually quite a bit there, but I think he still makes this restart. No, maybe not so much. Do we pick though? I think we're kind of sensing out that someone might be here for a save, which is.
Nah,
I mean,
what are you talking about, Rob? There's no one here. Personally, I think that Jiggy should just pick right now. I think Jiggy should just pick up that survivor immediately. What could possibly go wrong?
I think you should definitely face right towards where Jaw is as well. I think that makes things really interesting. Oh, wait a second! Oh, woohoo! Okay, all right. We do still get the save, but Jaw does eat an injury for it. Not the biggest downside ever, considering that we just lost a stage on our tunnel out, and we are sitting now at the tie condition. So this is really, really bad for Jiggy. We have one stage on the board and one gen remaining, and right now the survivors of Ascent are doubling the last gen with a lot of progress on it at the moment, and it does get interrupted actually, but either way this is scary for Jiggy.
What can you do, right? Yeah, every survivor's injured, but you have no tunnel out, you have no 3-gen, you have nothing. There is literally nothing you can do at this stage. Unfortunately, a bit too much of a burden to bear for the side of VIKs here, and Ascent firmly proving themselves to be a thoroughly strong and very thoroughly respected team. They're going to have the final generator done any moment in time now, and that'll be their victory secured and their ticket to the upper bracket as well. I don't even know why Angels and Zappit are doubling another gen. Wispy's gen's literally 99. Okay, there we go.
I don't even think that Jiggy noticed that Wispy was still on that gen the whole time. He was sitting on it while Zaphis was in chase the whole time. No clue at all. That is so unfortunate as well. Yeah, you're not gonna pull off a mind game like that on any of the Ascent survivors, I don't think. It was a nice try though, for sure. But I mean, even with the pallet being right there, you just don't really have a shot, honestly. That being said, yeah, Wispy gets some good distance against Jiggy, and now not really too many resources to make here, so might actually be seeing. Oh wait, actually, no. Still, all 5 gens completed marks the win for Ascent. So that's going to be a clean 3-0 sweep in favor of Ascent. And VIKs did put up a really good performance today, but unfortunately just did not meet the mark on any of the sets. And yeah, just really dominant position by Ascent here.
Yes, but we did get to see Jiggy play Blight, so who are the real winners here? The answer is...
yeah, exactly.
Yes, that we did. Wispy, of course, going to be the sacrificial lamb, led the team's victory with a killer performance, so it is only right that he would go out on his own sword on the survivor side as well. But yeah, absolutely fantastic performance there from Ascent. They were kind of just firing on all cylinders, to be perfectly honest. You know, there are some times where you think the losing team might have underperformed. I can't say that. I can't in good conscience say that VIKs played poorly or played badly. They just didn't play as well as the better team today. You know what I mean by that? This was not an example of... This was not an example of VIKs, like, playing down. This was just, like, Ascent playing up. And I think from the get-go, from basically the first set that we saw, we knew exactly how this would go.
Yeah, quite frankly, very well said, honestly, Egdar.